The corporate building loomed in the cold night, almost empty except for a few dimly lit offices. Noah Pierce, 33, a single dad and maintenance worker, trudged through the polished hallways, toolbox in hand. The fluorescent lights flickered above him, the hum of the ventilation system the only sound in the vast, silent space. He had already endured 2 long shifts today, one at the supermarket, another this morning, but necessity pushed him forward. His daughter Lily had a school trip coming up, and the $50 he didn't yet have weighed heavily on his mind. Each step echoed off the marble floors, a reminder that the building was nearly deserted, that the executives had long since gone home, leaving the responsibility to him. Noah paused at the elevator, glancing at the polished brass numbers ascending slowly. The weight of fatigue pressed on his shoulders, yet he reminded himself why he was here, to fix the broken light in the company gym. Not for recognition, not for praise, but for the small comforts that would make life easier for Lily. The office, usually bustling with urgency, now felt like a different world. The carpet was brighter, cleaner, the walls adorned with abstract art he barely noticed in the daytime chaos. Noah's mind drifted briefly to Lily's laughter, her soft, "I love you, Daddy," words that fueled him more than any paycheck ever could. Pushing the exhaustion aside, he approached the gym door, knocked thrice, and waited, unaware that this ordinary task would soon alter the course of his life forever. Noah reached the gym door, his knuckles tapping softly against the polished wood. There was no answer. He hesitated, thinking perhaps the room was empty. After all, the building was nearly deserted at this hour, and he had been instructed to fix a broken light. With cautious movements, he turned the knob and stepped inside. In that instant, time seemed to freeze. Before him stood Arya Lockhart, 30, the CEO of the company, half-dressed, changing her shirt in front of the mirror. Noah's eyes widened, immediately turning away, heat rising to his face, heart hammering against his ribs. Arya screamed, grabbing her shirt to cover herself, fury and embarrassment flashing across her features. Security and staff, who had been working late, appeared almost instantly, some pulling out phones to record. Noah stammered an apology, words tumbling out in desperation. I thought the room was empty. I need to fix the light." The tension was unbearable. The CEO's voice was cold, sharp, commanding. "Security will handle you." Noah's stomach sank, his phone buzzing in his pocket. The voicemail from his daughter Lily, sweet and innocent, asking if he would come home soon. In a single second, his ordinary night of work had spiraled into a nightmare, a misunderstanding that could cost him everything he had worked for. Yet, in the chaos, Noah felt something else too, a deep sense of responsibility, not for himself, but for the life he promised Lily. His resolve hardened, even as he was escorted out. The echo of the incident would haunt both him and Arya in ways neither could foresee, setting the stage for an unexpected journey of courage, trust, and redemption. As the security guards gently but firmly guided Noah toward the elevator, his heart raced with shame and frustration. Every step felt heavier than the last, weighed down by the misunderstanding that now threatened his livelihood. His phone buzzed again in his pocket. It was Lily, his 7-year-old daughter, innocently leaving a voicemail. "Daddy, are you coming home soon?" He pressed the phone to his ear, trying to hide the panic from the guards. His voice cracked, words trembling. "I'll be home soon, sweetheart. I love you." As he walked through the dimly lit lobby, Noah's mind drifted back to the past 3 years. After his wife's death, he had worked tirelessly, juggling multiple jobs, sacrificing sleep and comfort, all to ensure Lily never felt the void of her mother's absence. He remembered her kind smiles, the little hugs, every morning, the unwavering belief in her father. That belief now felt like both a lifeline and a weight pressing on him. He hadn't done anything wrong. He had only followed instructions. Yet the eyes of the staff, whispering and judging, reminded him that perception could be far crueler than reality. Noah sat on the bench outside the building, staring at the night sky, trying to calm the storm inside. He thought about how fragile trust could be, and how easily life could turn upside down in a single moment. For Lily's sake, he promised himself he would endure the public humiliation, the uncertainty, and the fear. Because to a 7-year-old, her father was the anchor, the hero, and he intended to remain that, no matter the cost. Meanwhile, high in her penthouse office, Arya Lockhart replayed the footage. Her fingers trembled over the tablet as she watched Noah knock once, twice, then a third time, waiting patiently. She watched him open the door, his face frozen in surprise, immediately turning away. Not lingering, not leering, not predatory. A pang of guilt pierced her chest. She had overreacted, humiliated him publicly, and allowed fear to dictate her actions. Yet the world outside the glass walls of her office demanded perfection. Showing weakness could be disastrous. Her board, her colleagues, the media. And still, as she lay awake that night in the massive emptiness of her apartment, Arya's mind couldn't escape the image of a tired man, mortified by a situation he didn't create, trying to do his job. She thought of the voicemail from his daughter, innocent and trusting, unaware that her father's night had turned into a nightmare. Arya had spent years building walls around herself. Walls of authority, control, and pride. But for the first time, she questioned whether her rigidity had blinded her to humanity. She wondered if the right choice, the brave choice, was to acknowledge the truth, no matter how uncomfortable. The security footage became a mirror, reflecting not just Noah's honesty, but her own failures. She clenched her jaw, silently promising that tomorrow she would face the consequences of her actions, even if it meant vulnerability, even if it meant defying expectations. 2 days later, Noah's suspension from work remained in effect. His supervisor had shown him the viral clip, now circulating internally and externally. The caption branded him a creep, and the comments were brutal. Despite knowing he had done nothing wrong, Noah felt the weight of judgment, the fear of losing not just his job but the ability to care for Lily. He picked up extra shifts at the supermarket, but the meager earnings were barely enough. Lily noticed his quiet sadness, her small voice piercing his heart. "Daddy, why do you look so sad? Is it because of work?" Noah forced a smile, choking back despair, assuring her he was fine. But the words felt hollow. Every night, he worried about rent, groceries, and school trips he couldn't afford. Yet even in the face of adversity, he drew strength from Lily's unwavering belief in him. The injustice gnawed at Noah, but he refused to let it break him. He knew that panic or despair would only frighten his daughter further. Every problem, every obstacle, he carried as silently as he could, keeping a facade of calm, even as anxiety churned inside. The video had distorted reality, yet his reality remained. He was a father first, a man determined to survive, to protect, and to provide. In the storm of misunderstanding, Noah found clarity. Courage and love would guide him through. That evening, while Noah worked at the supermarket, chaos erupted at the corporate building. A massive power surge triggered sparks in the server room, setting off fire alarms. Employees evacuated in panic, smoke filling the hallways as sprinklers activated. Across town, Noah's stomach sank as his phone buzzed with an emergency notification. All staff evacuate immediately. His heart raced. Lily was still in the company daycare on the 3rd floor. Without a second thought, Noah abandoned his register, racing to the bus, weaving through traffic as adrenaline propelled him forward. Flames and smoke filled his vision when he arrived. Security tried to stop him, but he pushed past them, the fear for his daughter outweighing his own safety. The hallway was a haze, choking, disorienting. Every step felt critical. Noah kicked the daycare door repeatedly until it burst open. Inside, children huddled together, terrified, while the daycare worker lay unconscious. Clutching Lily in one arm, he guided the others, teaching them to hold hands, to stay calm, navigating the smoke and chaos with precision born of pure love. Every instinct, every sacrifice centered on those tiny lives. He was their shield, their protector, and nothing else mattered. With each step, Noah felt the heat of the flames on his back, the smoke clawing at his lungs, but he refused to pause. He led the 5 children through the thick haze, instructing them in steady tones to hold hands and stay calm. Every child's frightened eyes met his with a desperate hope, trusting him completely. He glanced at Lily, her tiny hand gripping his tightly, and felt a surge of protective resolve stronger than fear. As he reached the stairs, sparks showered around him, yet he remained focused. One wrong step could spell disaster. The daycare worker was still unconscious, lying just beyond his reach, but Noah prioritized guiding the children to safety first. Emerging onto the stairwell, he felt the gravity of the moment, the weight of lives entrusted to his courage. With smoke stinging his eyes, soot covering his face, and lungs burning, he became more than a maintenance worker. He became a hero defined by action, not recognition. Outside, firefighters and onlookers froze, witnessing the exhausted man carrying 6 children to safety. Arya Lockhart, standing in the crowd, saw him and felt something shatter in her chest. The preconceptions, the armor, the wall she had built. This man, once accused and humiliated, had risked everything for lives that were not his own. Integrity, courage, and love transcended rank, status, or fear. Arya's breath caught in her throat as she watched Noah emerge, soot-streaked, cradling Lily in one arm, guiding the other children with the other. Her chest ached, not from fear, but from realization. The man she had called a creep, the one she had humiliated publicly, had displayed a courage and selflessness she had never anticipated. For the first time, she saw him not through the lens of office politics, gossip, or perception, but as a human being whose character spoke louder than titles or status. He did not seek attention. He did not ask for recognition. His every action was for the safety of the innocent. Arya felt a tear slide down her cheek, her walls cracking, her pride faltering in the face of undeniable truth. Noah checked each child carefully, ensuring no injuries went unnoticed, ignoring his own smoke-stinging eyes. Paramedics arrived, but he waved them toward the children first, insisting they be checked before himself. Lily clung to him, still frightened, and he whispered comforting words, steadying her trembling frame. In that moment, Arya realized that power was not measured in control, wealth, or titles. It was measured in integrity, courage, and the choices one made when no one was watching. And Noah Pierce, single father and maintenance worker, had just taught her a lesson she would never forget. The following day, Arya addressed the crowd, cameras flashing, employees watching. Her voice, once cold and authoritative, now carried humility and honesty. She admitted her mistake, publicly acknowledging that Noah Pierce had been wrongly accused. Gasps rippled through the crowd as she described his bravery, detailing how he had risked his life to save 6 children, including his own daughter. Noah stood quietly, holding Lily, unaccustomed to attention. The applause that erupted was not for show, but for truth, a truth that had taken courage, humility, and integrity to reveal. Arya's apology was more than words. It was a recognition of character over perception, of human decency over fear and pride. Noah had not sought vindication, yet here it was, handed to him not by public relations, but by undeniable action. The media coverage exploded overnight. Headlines celebrated the hero maintenance worker, while highlighting the CEO's courage to admit fault. Noah's phone would not stop ringing, but he ignored the interviews and requests, focusing instead on Lily, who clung to him, reassured that her father was not only safe but honored. In one act of selflessness, Noah had restored not only his reputation, but reminded everyone that integrity mattered, sometimes more than social status, more than fear, more than pride. 3 days after the fire, Arya arrived at Noah's modest apartment. Gone were the assistants, cameras, and corporate trappings, just the two of them and the space he called home. The small living room was filled with traces of everyday life. Children's drawings on the walls, a worn couch, a tiny kitchen, a world far removed from her pristine penthouse office. Arya stepped inside cautiously, the vulnerability she felt mirrored in her soft expression. She apologized, not for the cameras, not for the company, but for her personal failure to judge, to humiliate, and to misinterpret a man who had simply been doing his job. Noah listened silently, Lily quietly watching cartoons in the background, unaware of the gravity of the moment. Aria's voice trembled as she spoke of his tireless work, raising Lily alone, balancing multiple jobs, maintaining integrity under constant pressure. She acknowledged the bravery and honesty she had previously failed to see. Noah's humility remained unshaken. He said little, letting his actions, his life, his care for Lily speak for themselves. For the first time, Arya felt a deep respect and human connection beyond professional hierarchies. This visit marked a turning point. Walls crumbled, pride softened, and a bridge formed between them. A connection grounded not in power, but in understanding, empathy, and shared recognition of what truly mattered: family, courage, and trust. As Arya watched Noah in his apartment, a mix of awe and humility settled over her. She had seen his courage in the fire, his unwavering calm as he carried Lily and the other children to safety. Now, in his home, she witnessed another kind of heroism, the quiet perseverance of a single father, juggling exhaustion, fear, and responsibility every day. Every photo on the wall, every small trophy, every drawing of Lily reflected the life he had built with love and sacrifice. She realized the disparity between wealth and humanity, titles and integrity. Noah hadn't asked for recognition. He hadn't sought power or praise. He had acted purely out of duty and love. The contrast with her corporate life, where perception often mattered more than truth, was striking. In that moment, Arya felt a deep sense of gratitude and a growing resolve to do better, not for appearances, but because it was right. Noah, unaware of the profound impact on Arya, continued his quiet routine, tidying, checking bills, ensuring Lily's homework was complete. She watched the subtle details, the careful way he interacted with his daughter, the patience in his tone, the way he navigated life's challenges with dignity. Arya realized that heroism did not always come with headlines. Sometimes it came in the form of unwavering love and quiet courage. And for Noah, every day was a test he passed with integrity. The next morning, Arya stood before the assembled employees in the corporate atrium, cameras capturing every moment. Her voice, steady but humble, filled the space. She publicly acknowledged Noah's heroism and admitted her error in judgment. Employees exchanged glances, some whispering, others nodding with relief as the truth unfolded before them. Noah, standing with Lily at his side, felt a wave of emotions: relief, vindication, and quiet pride. The whispers of judgment were replaced with applause, genuine admiration, and acknowledgement of his bravery. Arya recounted the events of the fire, detailing Noah's courage, the calmness with which he guided 6 children to safety, and his selflessness despite personal risk. For the first time, the building witnessed the power of truth over perception. As cameras flashed and employees cheered, Noah's world shifted. The incident that had threatened to define him in shame now became a testament to character, courage, and integrity. Arya's apology was more than words. It symbolized accountability, humility, and respect. She had recognized that true leadership involved seeing the humanity in every individual beyond titles or appearance. Lily tugged at her father's hand, smiling up at him, her pride evident in her innocent eyes. Noah looked at her, realizing that this public acknowledgement, though monumental, paled in comparison to the quiet victories of everyday love and dedication. In one day, life had changed, not just for him, but for everyone who witnessed the power of courage and truth. Following the public apology, Arya decided to visit Noah at his modest apartment, not for appearances, but to truly understand the life of the man she had misjudged. As she stepped inside, the warmth and simplicity of the space struck her. Children's drawings adorned the walls, A small couch bore the signs of daily use, and the faint aroma of home-cooked meals lingered in the air. Arya approached Noah, her words careful, sincere. She apologized personally for her actions, acknowledging the pain and humiliation she had caused. Noah, weary from the fire, the suspension, and the relentless challenges of single parenthood, listened quietly. Lily peeked from behind the couch, curious but unafraid, sensing the sincerity in Arya's presence. Through their conversation, Arya saw the depth of Noah's dedication. The long hours, the constant worry, the endless effort to provide stability and happiness for Lily. She realized that leadership and courage were not always visible in boardrooms. They were reflected in small acts of love, protection, and perseverance. By the end of the visit, a bridge had formed between them. Walls of pride and hierarchy crumbled, replaced by understanding, empathy, and mutual respect. For Arya, this visit was transformative. For Noah, it was affirmation that humanity and integrity were finally recognized in ways that no accolades or promotions could fully capture. That evening, Noah prepared a simple dinner with Lily at the small kitchen table, and Arya joined hesitantly, curious about life outside her corporate bubble. Plates of pasta were served, modest but warm, filling the room with comfort and aroma. Lily chattered excitedly about school, her laughter blending with the soft hum of the evening lights. Arya observed quietly at first, watching Noah interact with his daughter. The patience in his voice, the gentle guidance, the way he encouraged Lily to speak, to share, to dream, it was leadership of a different kind. She realized that influence and respect were earned not through power or wealth, but through consistent care, honesty, and empathy. For Noah, the dinner was a small ritual, a grounding force after days of chaos. He shared stories, laughed at Lily's antics, and even found moments to tease Arya gently, breaking her formal demeanor. Slowly, the walls between them softened, and trust began to take root. The three of them shared not just a meal, but the beginnings of connection, understanding, and a bond forged through shared experience and genuine care. By the end of dinner, Arya's perception of Noah had shifted completely, from a misunderstood employee to a man whose courage and love transcended social hierarchies. Lily's innocent joy became a symbol of hope, resilience, and the simple beauty of life unencumbered by ego or judgment. After witnessing Noah's courage and humanity, Arya returned to the corporate office determined to make things right. She offered him a promotion, head of building safety, with better pay and benefits. Her words were deliberate, conveying respect, admiration, and acknowledgement of his character. Noah hesitated, pride and humility wrestling within him. He had always believed in hard work without expectation of reward. But he recognized the opportunity this role represented: better stability for Lily, a chance to ensure safety for others, and the ability to make meaningful change in a company that had nearly failed to see the value of its employees. Arya explained that the position was not just symbolic. She wanted him to implement changes, improve conditions for maintenance staff, and create policies that valued humanity as much as efficiency. Noah listened carefully, understanding that her offer reflected not only professional respect, but personal trust in his judgment and integrity. Lily, observing the conversation, clapped her small hands in delight. She sensed that her father's perseverance had led to this moment, that the sacrifices he had made were beginning to bear fruit. Noah smiled, shaking Arya's hand firmly, acknowledging both the responsibility and the opportunity. This promotion was more than a job. It was validation of his courage, his values, and the quiet heroism he demonstrated every day. Noah's promotion didn't just benefit him. It sparked a cultural shift throughout the company. Maintenance staff received better equipment, flexible hours, and recognition for their contributions. Arya, inspired by Noah's story, established the Lily Pierce Scholarship Fund, providing educational support for children of single parents working at the company. The change rippled through the office. Employees felt seen and valued, morale soared, and the company became more than a workplace. It became a community. Noah's actions, once misunderstood, became a symbol of integrity, courage, and resilience. His heroism inspired others to act selflessly and lead with empathy, transforming corporate culture from within. Aria's leadership evolved alongside Noah's recognition. She learned that humility and accountability were powerful tools for change. Her decision to honor Noah's integrity not only corrected a personal mistake, but also created lasting positive impact for employees and their families. For Noah, seeing the improvements in the scholarship fund brought quiet satisfaction. His efforts to protect and nurture Lily extended beyond their home, influencing an entire organization and leaving a legacy rooted in care, courage, and human dignity. Aria faced scrutiny from the board of directors, who questioned her decisions in promoting Noah and establishing the scholarship fund. Some argued it was a PR move, others doubted his capability. But Aria stood firm, articulating the importance of recognizing integrity, courage, and the value of employees beyond profit margins. Noah, invited to witness the meeting, remained quiet but attentive. His calm demeanor and clear sense of purpose contrasted sharply with the tension in the room. He answered questions honestly, demonstrating both competence and humility. The board could no longer dismiss him. His actions in the fire and his dedication to safety were undeniable. The discussion shifted from skepticism to respect. Aria's leadership was validated not by titles alone, but by the courage to acknowledge mistakes, the wisdom to empower others, and the humanity to prioritize people over optics. Noah's presence became a reminder that real leadership embraces morality alongside strategy. By the end of the meeting, the board had not only approved the promotion and scholarship fund, but also implemented additional safety measures company-wide. The synergy between Aria's decision-making and Noah's grounded integrity transformed a potential conflict into a lesson in ethical leadership. On a bright Saturday morning, Noah, Lily, and Aria ventured to a nearby park. The air was fresh, filled with the sounds of children playing, birds chirping, and the distant hum of the city. Noah pushed Lily on the swings while Aria watched from a bench, a gentle smile on her face. The carefree laughter of a child echoed in the sunlight, reminding Aria of the simplicity of joy and the importance of human connection. For Noah, this was a rare moment of peace, a break from responsibility, a time to simply exist with his daughter and the woman who had become a trusted friend. He glanced at Aria, noting the softening in her demeanor, the genuine warmth that contrasted with her usual corporate composure. Their shared smiles and quiet conversations built trust, a bond rooted in respect, empathy, and shared humanity. Lily, carefree and innocent, symbolized the life they were protecting, the future they were building. Aria realized that leadership and kindness extended beyond the office walls. It manifested in moments like these, where trust and authenticity created lasting connections. As the sun dipped lower, casting a golden glow, Aria felt grateful for Noah's courage and the lessons he had imparted. This park visit was more than a simple outing. It was a symbolic step toward understanding, friendship, and the formation of an unconventional, yet genuine family. After the park, they strolled to a small ice cream shop nearby. Lily eagerly chose her favorite flavor, her small hands clutching the cone tightly, while Noah and Aria followed, laughing at her antics. The simple pleasure of ice cream, the laughter spilling freely, the warmth of sunlight reflecting off the shop's windows, all combined to create a moment of genuine happiness. Aria savored the simplicity, feeling liberated from the pressures of her high-powered life. She realized that joy could be found in small acts, shared moments, and unguarded laughter. Noah, for his part, enjoyed seeing Lily smile without fear or worry, appreciating Aria's presence as an ally and friend. The day was filled with conversation, teasing, and shared stories, forming bonds that would endure beyond the fleeting joy of the outing. In the laughter and warmth, they discovered that family could take many forms, built on trust, care, and shared experiences rather than societal expectations or hierarchy. By the time they walked back toward home, the golden light of late afternoon enveloped them. Their shadows stretched long on the pavement, a metaphor for the enduring impact of courage, kindness, and human connection. In this moment, the past misunderstandings seemed distant, replaced by hope, laughter, and a sense of belonging. As evening approached, the trio paused at a park bench overlooking a quiet fountain. Lily's laughter echoed in the crisp air, her hands wrapped around both Noah and Arya. The day's adventures had transformed routine interactions into profound moments of connection, trust, and mutual respect. Arya looked at Noah, seeing not just a maintenance worker, not just a hero of the fire, but a man whose integrity and perseverance shaped every choice he made. Noah glanced at Arya, recognizing the growth, humility, and empathy she had cultivated in the past weeks. They shared a quiet smile, a silent acknowledgement of the journey that had brought them here. Lily, oblivious to the complexities of adult lives, felt secure, cherished, and loved. Her joy symbolized the potential of a future defined not by past mistakes, misunderstandings, or fear, but by courage, integrity, and genuine care. The city around them continued its rhythm, but within this small moment, time seemed to pause, encapsulating the promise of hope and renewal. Together, they walked hand in hand through the fading light, a father, his daughter, and a friend turned ally. The path ahead was not perfect, but it was bright, filled with love, understanding, and the unwavering belief that family, however unconventional, could thrive when grounded in trust and compassion. Their story was far from over, but its foundation was now unshakable, built on courage, resilience, and the enduring power of human connection.